For generations, the classic book Little Women has enchanted readers, young and old. It has been brought to the movie screen many times, and now, on Christmas Day, a new version hits theaters nationwide, one with all the familiar touches, along with some very modern ones. John Yang sat down with the director and the screenwriter, Greta Gerwig. It's part of our ongoing coverage of arts and culture, Canvas.
It's Louisa May Alcott's beloved 150-year-old story of the four March sisters.
This is Meg, Amy, Beth, and Jo.
They face love and heartbreak and chase their dreams in Civil War-era New England.
I want to be the best painter in the world.
An international cast portrays these quintessentially American characters. Emma Watson as Meg, the eldest, the romantic. Beth, played by Eliza Scanlon, the shy musician. Florence Pugh plays Amy, the boisterous youngest. And at the center of it all, Saoirse Ronan is Jo, the impassioned writer who tells their tale.
The truth is, I saw myself in all of them, and I think that's something about a book you grow up with. You see yourself in different characters at different points.
Greta Gerwig retells Little Women for a new generation.
It is a dream cast.
Yes.
And in the scenes with the sisters together,
Yes.
it feels so spontaneous, it feels so natural.
Yes.
And I'm sure that that's the result of a lot of hard work.
Well, I wanted all of these lines, which are so famous, to be said just lightning quick, with the energy of youth and with the exuberance of sisterhood. One of the things that I wanted to do was have a very controlled cacophony of sound and movement, and I wanted it to feel like a ballet that was kind of violent.
So that was the sisterhood.
That was the sisterhood. These couple weeks we spent in rehearsal, just drilling all of that and spending time working on it. Yeah, it's the thing that brought them together.
At first, Gerwig was hired only to write the screenplay.
You are so infuriating.
Please stop yelling.
I'm not yelling. Oh, it's perfect.
Do you love it?
But then came Lady Bird, her 2017 breakthrough directing debut.
Cut. They came back and said, would you like to direct Little Women? And I was like, I've been asking for 5 years. I would love to.
The film reunites her with Lady Bird stars Ronan and Timothée Chalamet.
They're two of my favorite young actors. Saoirse told me she was going to play Jo. She said she knew I was working on Little Women and she wanted to play Jo.
I have loved you ever since I've known you, Jo.
As soon as I knew it was Saoirse, I knew I wanted it to be Timothée because they're just so exciting to watch on screen together.
Jo, would you like to dance with me?
Talk a little bit about the working relationship between Saoirse and Timothée, because I'm thinking in particular the dance scene.
I think with period pieces, sometimes you end up feeling like everything's just so, and everything's so perfect, and everybody's waiting politely for someone else to finish talking. I wanted to bring that feeling of reverence for the text, but irreverence for the joy, allowing it to be spontaneous. A dance that was both a nod to the formality of the time, and then had that bursting out at the seams feeling. The dance that Laurie and Jo do really brings that across. I actually hadn't read the book again until I was around 30, and I was gobsmacked by it. I thought it was completely modern and fresh and strange and spiky.
I'm just a woman. And as a woman, there's no way for me to make my own money.
One of the things that's wonderful to do as an artist is that I'm allowed to take this iconography of Little Women, of these famous moments and these famous scenes, and I'm allowed to deliver on them and give you those things, and then also subvert it.
You remind me of myself.
Compared with earlier film versions, Gerwig adds depth and dimension to characters like March family matriarch Marmee, portrayed by Laura Dern.
Marmee is a character who in previous tellings is sort of a plaster saint.
You know, she could be quite bloodless in her piety. I went back to the book and I was reading it, and the line, I'm
angry nearly every day of my life. You are? I'm not patient by nature.
I thought, that's not true. Marmee's not angry. And I'm like, oh my God, she's been angry for 150 years. We've never noticed.
At the heart of the story, women and their aspirations.
Women, they have minds,
And they have souls as well as just hearts. And they've got ambition and they've got talent as well as just beauty. And I'm so sick of people saying that love is just all a woman is fit for. I'm so sick of it.
You have me.
In earlier adaptations, like the 1994 version starring Winona Ryder, the happy ending is Joe finding a husband and also publishing a book. But in Gerwig's telling,
It's the book. The happy ending is the book. I think there aren't enough movie romances between women in their books.
I thought that last one was great.
And I got all of the cliches of a movie romance chase, of the girls in the carriage in the rain, and I got to do the camera on the crane, and I did all these sort of bells and whistles of what we think of as movie romance. But for me, it was never where the heart of it was. The heart of it was about what it means to have authorship and ownership. And I wanted to have that emotional impact come around Jo and her book.
Someday you'll need me.
Gerwig's Jo defies society's expectations, embodied by her dowager aunt, played by Meryl Streep.
You'll need to marry well.
But you are not married, Aunt Marge.
Well, that's because I'm rich.
And stands up to her publisher.
So, who does she marry?
How does that resonate with what's going on now in Hollywood? So
Yes.
the push for gender equality.
Sure. I had wanted to include this whole story of her negotiating her copyright and also her back-end deal, that she gets 6.6%, which is how much Louisa May Alcott got, which was higher than people usually got. But honestly, the publisher gave her 6.6% because he didn't think it was going to do very well. And he was wrong. It sold out in 2 weeks. And then it was, subsequently, it has never been out of print. So one of the things I wanted to do was introduce the idea of Louisa May Alcott herself as the author of Little Women. And I wanted to collapse the space between Louisa May Alcott, the writer, and Jo March, the character.
Apple mark.
The modern-day struggle for women's recognition is reflected in the dearth of award nominations so far for this critically acclaimed film. Just 2 from the Golden Globes and none from the Screen Actors Guild. Oscar nominations come next month.
It's still notable that there's a movie written by a woman, directed by a woman, starring roles, the lead characters are women, produced by a woman.
Yes.
What does that say? Do you think we would have been beyond this by now?
Period pieces are seen as risky or that people won't go. So that alone is already a hurdle. And then you add on top of it, it's all about women, it's written, directed by a woman, it's produced by a woman. So in some ways it feels like a miracle that this movie was made at all. And I can't help but be just completely grateful that it happened, because it continues to feel unlikely.
Make it short and spicy. And if the main character is a girl, make sure she's married by the end.
A fresh take on an old favorite from a rising star behind the camera. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm John Yang in New York.
Online, we have more from our interview with director Greta Gerwig. She shares which March sister from the story she most identifies with. That's our website, pbs.org/newshour.